You are now watching the Movie Juice Podcast.
The juice is loose.
Hello and welcome to an episode of the Movie Juice Podcast. I'm Dylan.
I'm Kyle.
And I'm James.
Movie Juice. Movie Juice. Movie Juice.
Juice the movie. Beautiful.
I just honked the entire time.
I did some note.
Like a buzzer.
I was like,
Between us girls, that sounded like a home run to me. Hey, yo, you get it? Because the movie we watched this week was
The Benchwarmers.
The Benchwarmers.
dodgeball.
Oh my god. Is that on the list?
Yeah, I think so.
It should be.
It should be.
Because Major League Baseball is back tonight. Jeff, air horns.
I know it's going to be real air horns, but I like to do it too. Makes me excited, you know?
I like seeing you excited.
Anyway, Dylan, you want to give us the rundown on the
Hell
Benchwarmers
no.
real quick? I can do it. Look, you want me to do it? I know it's kind of your thing,
I
though.
already got it pulled up.
Okay, I was about to say.
This
Like,
exact thing happened like a couple weeks ago.
it did happen. You are correct. I remember it.
Like you always ask, and I always have it pulled up. Ready
Well,
to go.
I just want to give you your lead in, big dog.
Next time you have it pulled up beforehand.
It released April 7th, 2006.
That's like a week away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Budget was $33 million, and it raked
11 years ago.
in $65 million.
19.
That was
That's
19,
not
buddy.
right.
Say 11?
He said 11.
9/11.
And then he looked up at the ceiling and said, "That's not right."
At least I corrected myself.
Hey man, motherfucker had confidence in there.
I know, dude. He was like, "Oh, that's 11 years ago, guys. Oh my god." It's okay, buddy.
Box office it raked in $65 million. It was produced by Adam Sandler's production company, Happy Madison Productions.
Terrific.
In association with Revolution Studios, The Benchwarmers was released in the United States April 7, 2006 by Columbia Pictures.
Yep.
The film was met with negative reviews.
Understandable.
A direct-to-video sequel titled Benchwarmers 2 Breaking Balls was released in January 2019.
Yeah, we're not doing that one.
I guess it's not that good because Wikipedia doesn't even have a clickable link for it, so that's never a
So it
good
doesn't
sign.
exist to us.
Reception on Rotten Tomatoes, The Benchwarmers scored 13% on 71 reviews, with the site's consensus reading a gross-out comedy that is more sophomoric than funny. The Benchwarmers goes down swinging, and Metacritic has a score out of 25 out of 100. So yeah, we're dealing with a pretty something movie.
Well,
We're dealing with a grade A stinker.
if you ask me, I feel like that's a bit harsh.
Yeah,
But it's really not that bad.
No.
Like,
I get stupid, but it's fun.
yeah.
yeah.
People, I feel like most critics just try too hard to be critical.
When was Rotten Tomatoes established? Because it was definitely after this movie came out.
Nah, I don't think so. I think Rotten Tomatoes is kind of old. Let's look. That's a great fucking question.
Because this movie could have been out for a while, and then when people finally saw it and flocked to it, they were like, "Oh, this sucked."
So Rotten Tomatoes was
okay.
established in August of 1998.
Well, fuck.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's more about the sequel if
Thanks,
anyone
Internet.
was curious. In July 2019, Revolution Studios and Universal 1440 Entertainment announced a direct-to-DVD sequel titled Benchwarmers 2. The film was released on January 29th, 2019, with John Lovitz reprising his role.
Is that Mel?
Yeah.
He's literally the only character that comes back.
The rest of the cast consists of Chris Klein, Chelsea Reese, and Lachlan Munro and Garfield Wilson. I don't know any of these motherfuckers.
That movie sounds fucking garbage. Let's talk about this goddamn classic.
Why did it need a sequel?
Instead.
That's why I said nobody cares.
Well, the thing is, man,
I just want to see how bad it did.
I feel like,
I'm sure it did terrible.
I bet you that the sequel
Direct
came
DVD.
out around the time whenever everything was getting a fucking sequel.
Remember a couple weeks ago when he was like, "Oh, direct to DVD." I feel like they don't do that anymore. Benchwarmers 2.
That
Wait.
was 6 years ago.
Hey, still
Still
happened.
recent.
Kind of.
More recent than 2011. 2006. I'm getting my numbers mixed up.
Yeah, man, whatever he said. All right.
Jesus Christ.
Well, I think, fellas, it's time for me to ask the question. Would you recommend this movie?
Not going to the theater. If this was 06, I wouldn't go to the theaters. To
I
see
would,
this.
because it's an Adam Sandler's fun days.
Okay, so is it 06 and I'm almost 9, or is it 06 and I'm almost 28?
The second one. 'Cause I'd probably still skip it.
I don't know, man. Like, is it like, no, if nothing's really coming out that weekend and we're all doing what we do now, where like we go watch movies and shit, I would probably go watch it.
Let's watch the trailer and see if based on the trailer I'd like it. Because it depends how they cut the trailer.
That's what I'm thinking too, because it's like you can't really. It's so hard to even recommend.
Because nowadays they put all the best shit in the trailer and it would make me want to see it. And then when I get in the movie, all the shit I like would be the stuff I already know about, and the stuff I wouldn't like would be stuff I haven't seen. I'm like, oh, this movie did kind of suck. They played all the good stuff in the trailer.
But let's just go with
that's how trailers work nowadays.
Let's just go with in general. Would you guys recommend this movie though? I would say not really. You could miss it and you wouldn't be missing anything.
Yeah, because I mean, like, really, the only thing that came out the weekend with it was Ice Age: The Meltdown.
I think we'd probably go watch that first.
Yeah.
Because you gotta think, Ice Age is hitting. There's only been like 2.
Nah, I wasn't a big fan of Ice Age as a kid.
Really?
Do you like Ray Romano?
Yeah, calm down. I'm Ray. Everybody loves me. I'm Ray.
That sounds more like Seinfeld than Romano.
I wasn't welcome to Mooseport.
That's a terrible movie.
But yeah, I don't think I'd really. I don't think I'd really recommend this movie. I think
I guess I couldn't. I'm sorry.
Well, like I said, I mean, it's definitely not bad. It kind of falls similar to a Miss March to me, which we talked about a couple weeks ago. You know, like, it's not bad, but it's so forgettable. Like, it very much blends in with the rest of those movies, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, this is like the time that we're kids. Like, we're coming up in this shit, and it's something that I don't remember. Not really. Like, unless someone brings up the Benchwarmers, I'm not just sitting around thinking about this fucking movie. You know what I mean? That's how I see it anyway.
Yeah.
Not that it's bad, because it's not. It's not good, though.
It's not great.
It's definitely not good.
Like,
yeah, it's decent.
I liked it a lot more when I was young.
I did, too. I definitely thought it was...
When I was a 9-year-old about to turn 10,
yeah,
I thought this movie was hilarious. But watching it now, almost 30, I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
Movie not great.
Now, there was parts that made me laugh, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just, you know, it's a movie.
I mean, I probably would have saw it just because, like, well, I don't know, because Napoleon Dynamite was 2 years before this, and he didn't really do much after. Rob Schneider has never really been a bankable actor.
No, he's just always been, like, Adam Sandler's friend.
Yeah, and David Spade's also never really been...
Sandler's friend.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, well,
except for the
the
dude.
reason they keep getting roles.
Except for
the dude that played Clark.
yeah, John Heder. Yeah, he's never really been. I think this is the only Sandler produced movie he's been in.
That dude kind of fell off the face of the earth.
Yeah, he did.
Because, like, you know, after this, he's in, like, Benchwarmers and, like,
Blaze
Let's
of
Go
Glory.
to Prison. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Blaze of Glory and Let's Go to Prison, and then that's, like, it that I can think of.
He's in Surf's Up.
Oh, really?
He does the voice of the
I haven't
chicken.
seen that in years.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I don't know if he came back for the sequel because there is a sequel, but it's
Surf's
like
Up 2,
it's very
more.
WWE themed.
Surf's Up 2, more surf.
The Undertaker's in it.
Yeah, that's how stupid it is that you believe that was the real title. I have no idea what the sequel was called.
More surf. That
Sounds legit though,
works.
right?
So I was thinking Surfment Day if the Undertaker's in it.
I like that. That's good.
Surf's Up 2, Electric Boogaloo. That's what
Perfect.
Dylan
That's
would
what
have
it is.
said a while back.
Do you guys want to know the actual name of it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wave Mania.
So I wasn't far off. I guess it's only called Wave Mania because it's wrestling theme.
I'm going to be honest with you guys. Those 3 suggestions we had were better.
More surf.
More surf was better.
Do you know? Would you guys like to know what year it came out?
2016.
Close.
2015.
God damn it.
17.
God damn it.
I was the wrong way. Let's get into Benchwarmers. Let's step up to the juicer.
Oh, the juicer's looking good. I'm going to turn the blades on.
I would say that's more of a blender than a.
And then I'm going to squeeze
It'd be
it.
more like a.
Yeah.
Like a...
Because it'd be like squeezing it.
I like the...
Okay, we didn't order the Macho Man one.
Oh yeah.
Step up to the juicer.
Let's step up to the juicer. Yeah. I'm gonna do the entire notes like this. Yeah.
Please,
No.
God, do it. When we do the rest of it.
Oh, just do all of it, Macho Man.
All right. So, The Benchwarmers, Columbia Pictures, Revolution,
Happy Madison.
Nostalgia.
Terrific.
I wrote nostalgia.
Baseball field.
Nerdy kids playing baseball. Title card. There's a yellow truck.
I put Rob Schneider equals Gus.
Yes.
Good.
And his-
That is more. Write that down. Gus is landscaping. He has his own business.
Yeah, I put Napoleon Dynamite throwing newspapers, and I put Napoleon Dynamite is Clark.
He throws the paper on the roof and goes, "Dang it!"
Also, Gus sees the baseball kids and is like, oh, that's nice. Good for them.
Good for them.
Good for them.
Who'd have thought?
And they're talking, and he's like, "We tell Mrs. Donnelly that her paper is on the roof."
He's like, you can't leave that up there, Clark.
She's an 80-year-old woman. Like,
Hey, it's tough out there, you know what I mean?
For the 80-year-old community.
Clark's also wearing a helmet, and he wears the helmet almost the entire movie.
Yeah, well, he's wearing a helmet because he's on a bike, and that's safe.
Yeah, but then later
he
he's
wears
playing
it when he's
baseball.
not.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta wear
He
helmets
goes
in
to-
baseball.
When you're batting,
When you're batting.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
hey, safety first.
he's wearing it in the outfield, dude.
He's wearing it in the outfield. He's
Hey,
wearing
well.
it in the goddamn Pizza Hut. Like, what do you want from me?
Hey, man.
I'm calling him out.
Well,
I'm
maybe
about
If
to
you get rid of that yee-ass helmet, you get some bitches on your
He
dick.
probably wouldn't. Well, he does at the
He
end.
does at the end, bro. He takes the helmet off. He starts making out with that.
Yeah.
The woman that looks kind of old, too.
Yeah,
Like,
she did.
Hey,
not there's anything wrong with that.
you win some, you lose some.
Hey, a dub's a dub. I don't care who you are. Offers yesterday paper to give to her, and then he picks his nose.
Yeah. And then he's like, oh, don't get rid of that. And he eats it.
Yeah, well, he says he's scratching, and he says he's scratching his brain because it's huge. And then the brake on his bike is broken, and he has
Oh.
86 houses left.
Yeah, because my note on that says he tries to bike away, and the bike says, "Here's for your troubles." Gus fixes it because Gus is a fucking handyman over here. And then it pans to nerds playing baseball poorly.
And then the mean kids show up. They're like a baseball team, and they're like, "Hey, we got this field, you fucks. We're taking this goddamn thing." And they're like, "No, we're the naughty kids." And then they're like, "Go build your science project." And the nerd with the list, whose name's Nelson, he's like, my name's Nelson, I'm a little kid.
And then he gets beef stewed.
Yeah. Well, he asks if they can play catch on the side, and then they push him over and they're mean to him, and then they fart in his mouth.
Yeah, they do fart in his mouth, which is called getting beef stewed.
And then Clark doesn't have a car, because it goes back to Gus and Clark. They're kind of like going up to this, seeing what's going on. Find out Clark doesn't have a car because his mom said he should take off one more year to make sure his muscles are fully developed. He is like a 40-year-old man. Like, maybe 30, but
Yeah.
like he's an old man. He's grown. And
Maybe he don't know that.
and then while he says that about his muscles being fully developed, he pretends to be Spider-Man for a second. I noticed because he's like, he does the hand flicky thing.
Yeah.
And then they come to the rescue of these kids, and the poor kid's crying.
Yeah, and then Nelson's like, "It didn't taste as bad as you would think." And I was like, "But that's the least part on my mind, champ."
And then Clark says that he loves beef stew.
Of course he
And
does.
Gus is like, "Oh my god, I haven't been on an actual field in 20 years. This feels so good."
So yeah, they might be close to 40. You might be
Yeah.
right.
And then Clark has never been on a field. If he tried, the kid would spit loogies on his forehead.
Understandable.
And then Gus has like this whole spiel about how great baseball is, and I just said he sucks America's cock.
Yeah, because he's like, "You've never been on a baseball field? It's like America's pastime. It's just like apple pie." And I put Clark has never had apple pie because his mom said it gives him diarrhea.
And then he says, "You got to try it at least once." And then he says, "Diarrhea?" And he says, "No, baseball."
No baseball, you dummy.
And then Gus is like, "Let's come back later and hit some balls." So then
I'm
Clark,
He says, Clark's like, "Can I bring Richie?"
yeah.
No. Please don't.
And then Clark's mom texts him and says that they're having macaroni tonight,
Which means garlic bread.
Yes!
He's fucking
He does
excited.
this little king. He's like, yes!
And then he runs to the video game store, and Spider-Man's playing on the
Yeah,
TV.
I wrote that down too.
Yeah.
Spider-Man's playing on the TV. There's GameCube games behind him, and Spider-Man the movie on GameCube is behind him. And there's also...
One of the games that's also behind him is Batman Vengeance on the game.
I was wondering what that was, because
Yeah.
there were a couple I was like, oh, that looks familiar. And then also, on the back, on the shelf, since it's the movie store, they have Sandlot 2 on DVD in the background. And I was like, that's another baseball movie. The Sandlot 2, there's 2 more for us.
Yeah.
We got plenty of baseball movies.
And then there's a lady complaining to Clark about a movie, and it's Adam Sandler's
it's
wife.
Adam Sandler's wife. You beat me by 1 second.
Yeah.
Yeah, Richie.
I didn't
is-
write it
is
down,
David
but I just
Spade.
knew it was her.
Yeah. Because I had to look it up. I was like, how long have they been married? And I was like, they were married since like 2002.
Yeah,
It's just crazy.
she's also in 8 Crazy Nights.
She's in a lot of
She
his
was the
fucking
girl
movies.
that he
Yeah,
likes.
yeah, except for the singing part.
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
just
it
somebody else.
But she's complaining about how the movie that Richie suggested to her has lesbian sex scenes.
Yeah,
He's like, you didn't like?
And yeah, she watched it with her parents. And
and she was like, "Do you got any more movies that doesn't involve this?"
then he offers her a haunted slumber party movie. And she's like, "Well, how many lesbian scenes has this happened?" And he's like, I think
believe-
there's 2. And she's like, "You're a pig," and storms off. And then this is when Clark shows up, tells him about, "We're gonna go hit balls."
He's like, I don't really want to. And he's like, yeah, but then that would make me a liar. And that's not what I'm about. Not ever.
And
He's so serious about it.
Richie asks his boss if he can take the rest of the day, and the boss just pretty much flips him off.
Fucking Marty. He's
Yeah,
like, fuck
yeah.
you.
He says, "I don't even know who you are." And then Richie just says,
okay, Thanos.
Richie just says, "Bros before hoes, dude." And then they leave, and then it's Gus at home, and he's looking for his oven mitt, and you find out that him and his wife are trying to have his baseball mitt.
What do you What, did he make an apple pie?
Maybe.
Hey, well, there is a Disney like TV movie where like the guy has to choose between
That's true, but
baking and baseball.
Scotty's Bake Off?
Eddie's, I think.
Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off.
Yeah.
It's a good
I watched Scott Kramer do it.
Yeah, me too, yeah. With
some other guy. I can't remember his name.
I know his name's Eric, but I can't think of his channel name. Anyway. And we find out that Gus's lady wants a baby.
Yeah. And
She ovulating something bad.
and her ovulating's peaking at 6 p.m. that night.
Speaking of bakeries.
Schneider's Bakery.
No. Wrong Schneider.
Yeah,
And
no,
then,
fuck that guy. He's a piece of shit.
So yeah, they basically make a fuck appointment, which is pretty cool.
A fuck appointment that he will miss.
Yep. And then they cut to the ball field, and Richie can't hit.
Yeah, and there's like some Timu Beck song playing in the background. Because it sounded like Loser, but it was not Loser.
Hey, well, maybe they didn't have that in the budget.
And I was like, that sounds exactly like Beck, but not.
Richie's just making excuses on to why he sucks. Clark's picking his nose. They're both being nerds.
He does that a lot.
And then Richie and Gus switch, and Richie goes to pitch the ball and accidentally hits himself on the noggin because he throws it up too high, and it just lands back on him, and it's fucking funny because Clark goes,
The baseball team from earlier shows up. They want the field, and so does the baseball team.
And Kai,
Yeah.
he has this funny line that he sounds so stupid. He's like, leave this field or face the consequences. And he says it like a little nerd, and it was funny. Like
And then Gus says, "Hey, we'll play you for it." And I put game time.
He's
Clark.
like, aren't you a paper boy?
and Richie says, "What is this? The children of the corn?" And then they threaten to call the cops, and then they're like, "Yeah, we'll play you for it. 9 versus 3, it'll be an easy game for you."
And then they're all like, prepare to beat your makers. And then Clark's like, the makers of what? Poop? I still love that line as a kid. It always made me chuckle.
And then Clark strikes out.
Hits himself in the head.
He's like, that's a strike zone. He's like, where's the strike zone? And then he's like, the final pitch gets thrown. He misses it. He's like, it's right there.
And then Richie makes a fat joke at the umpire kid.
Yeah.
And then Richie gets striked out. And then I put Gus time to shine. Gus hits a homer on his first swing.
Yeah, like that motherfucker's, it's out of there.
Do you think Rob Schneider's that good at playing baseball?
No.
God, no.
But also it's funny because Richie's like, he just did that steroid free. And Clark goes, what's steroids? And Richie says, something that makes your pee-pee smaller. And he said, there must be steroids in macaroni. I put shit, I hear you.
Richie looks over at him like,
I do love macaroni. You know what I mean?
Macaroni is great, and my PP is small.
I'm more of a mashed potato guy.
Really? Dude, I'm picking macaroni every
Macaroni
time.
for sure, but I love both, to be fair.
I do like both, but if I have to
But
pick
like
it's
as a kid,
macaroni.
I always was
I like mac and cheese.
I was a fiend for macaroni.
I like macaroni and cheese, but
Probably why I have a small piece.
you can only get that in like one flavor, and it's just mac and cheese. But like mashed potato, they always sell those on multiple flavors.
There's multiple flavors of macaroni and cheese at the grocery store.
Not really. I mean, you put stuff in macaroni, but like
There's like a top shelf.
potatoes, you got like sour cream.
Hey, man, as a
you
kid, I
got
couldn't reach the
cheddar,
top shelf.
You got
Maybe you could have asked your mama.
I mean, you can never reach the top shelf.
Man, I can still reach the top shelf. Hey, don't come in. I'm like 2 inches shorter than you. Maybe 3.
I'm alright. I'm following both of you.
Dude, I don't care. I'll fight both of y'all right now.
2-on-1, I don't know.
2-on-1, I'll probably lose.
I make different flavored mac and cheese all the time.
Different flavor mac and cheese all the time. I'm
Well,
telling
I'm
you,
just
it's a
saying,
thing.
when we were
It's
kids,
still cheese and macaroni.
No, it's different, bro. You can get the little bacon bits in it. I'm not hearing
That's a topping!
this
That's not a
fucking
flavor!
bullshit about macaroni on the goddamn podcast.
You might have to cut this.
yeah, I'm just saying, like with mashed potatoes, you got like
Sour cream and onion,
sour cream and
garlic.
onion.
I'm
you
not
got
disagreeing.
cheddar.
I'm just saying there are more than one flavor.
Bacon's not a flavor.
Bacon is a flavor.
It's a topping. I mean, sometimes we made it a flavor in like 2009, and we never looked back. But we never stopped to
But
ask. should we?
most of the time, it's usually just already bacon bits added in. I wouldn't count that as like necessarily a flavor.
In that instance, I would not call it a flavor.
It gives it a different flavor.
Different flavor.
It gives it a different flavor. It's not a flavor.
It literally is the same thing.
I just feel like we shouldn't be using the word flavor when it comes to macaroni and potatoes.
Yeah, it's true.
Flavors, I'm thinking chips. I'm thinking
fuck you, man.
candy.
What are you gonna tell me now? Oh, ice cream's the same? No.
Well, it is.
Well, in the
technically.
commercials, it's mashed potatoes.
I'm about to punch myself in the dick.
Well, it's still ice cream. It's made the same way. I'm not saying it has the same ingredients.
You know what you should do? Grab your nipples and just twist like they do in the movie.
Oh, God.
And
Speaking of the movie.
we should get back to it.
Speaking of the movie.
Sorry, guys. We'll see what Jeff cuts from that.
We might have juiced a little macaroni on the juicer.
Juice the macaroni.
Juice the macaroni.
I don't want to juice that.
I'm talking squelch.
That's just cheese.
What if we juice the macaroni and that's when we find out what flavor it is?
Cheese.
Yeah.
So you agree? There's only one flavor.
It's just normal macaroni, yes.
It's just powdered cheese.
No.
That shit sucks.
You ever use Velveeta?
I mean,
It's not powdered. It's not.
Velveeta's my least favorite of all of them.
Really? I like Velveeta.
Yeah, but I like
He
Kraft.
taught me the one with the shapes holds the cheese in better.
Because like the other ones, it's just like the powder just kind of gets all bleh.
Yeah.
But in the shapes, it like gets in little grooves. It gets creamy.
You're a fiend.
Yeah, bro.
I've seen this man eat nothing but mac and cheese for dinner.
It's true. It's pretty good. Anyway, that's why I said I would always pick macaroni and cheese. Anyway, that was a long way to get there.
Anyway, Gus pitches, Ricky catches, and Clark is in the outfield. That's their position. So Gus is the pitcher, Richie's the catcher,
Yep.
and Clark
So, like,
is...
not only is he hitting homers, he's also a really good fucking pitcher.
Yeah, and then...
Motherfucker should have went pro or something. Maybe,
Yep.
maybe if coach would have put him in, they would have took state.
well, you know.
John Heder.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I understood that reference.
I did too.
Reference. That's the word I'm looking for.
And then Gus domes Richie, and it almost goes through his face mask, which is
Like
pretty
it's
funny.
stuck in.
Yeah.
That happened to me. I used to be catcher on Optimist, and that happened to me once, and I was like, what do I do?
Cry.
My
And
bad.
then, while this is going on, it also shows Clark chasing around a butterfly in the outfield. And then it's just a montage of Gus
hitting
striking
home runs.
Which that's one thing I
we're
will,
up 17-0.
I will give this movie is that it's really good about montages,
Oh yeah.
which I can appreciate whenever it's like a movie that I'm just trying to get through.
Yeah.
And then, so 17-0, Nelson arrives and beef stews the mean kid because he hits him in the chest.
Well,
with a ball.
because he's like, I'm gonna throw this one so that way he can hit it, and
Let these guys actually do something.
Yeah.
And it just fucking hits that kid right in the chest.
And Nelson shits in that kid's face, and then they are like, "Yeah, we did it! Fuck these kids! We're grown men and we beat the fuck out of kids!"
and then all you hear is.
And then they go to Richie's apartment, and then Richie asks why Gus didn't play in high school, and he's like, "'Cause of bullies." And Clark says he could have made it to the Super Bowl, which is not in baseball. In case
Super Bowl.
Super Bowl, burn, 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 burn.
NFL don't sue us.
Can they sue us for air horns?
Well, the
they-
word Super Bowl.
Yeah. Apparently they have that copyrighted. Yeah.
It's just two words put together.
Yeah, well, it's copyrighted.
I'm gonna
So you
copyright.
have to call it the big game.
Either way, you find out Richie has a brother named
Big
Howie,
show.
and he's an agoraphobe.
Yeah, which
Which that's not what being afraid of the sun is not agoraphobia.
yeah.
Like, yes, he is also afraid of people too, but when they're talking about him being afraid of the sun. I'm like, that's not what agoraphobia
Yeah,
is.
that's not.
And he's like, "How did hitting the balls go?" And Richie says, "I hit a foul ball, dude. It was sweet."
I have a little bit of a rant in my notes too, because I was like, bro, Nick Swartzen ain't in shit no more. Because he used to be like really fucking funny. And
Yeah.
he just kind of stopped being in shit.
He made that movie about like his parents being porn stars.
Yeah, Ricky.
Bucky Larson, Born to
Bucky
Be a
Larson,
Star.
Yeah.
And after that, it was all downhill. Cause I'm
Well,
pretty
after that, he did some work. I know he had a show on Comedy Central for a little bit. It was pretty funny.
Well, actually, the show didn't do well, and they just kind of rebranded it with Nick Kroll.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Really?
Kroll Show.
Yeah, the Kroll Show.
That was a rebrand? Really interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Because it was like
I know the Kroll Show was on for like a while.
It was literally the same, like literally the exact same concept.
It's just with him instead of Nick
Yeah,
Swartzen.
And then,
but I mean, to be fair, I think Nick Kroll's funnier.
I do too.
This is before Big Mouth. This is like
Yeah.
at that point, I think he'd only been known for the league.
Yeah, because he used to like acting. He wasn't really known for his like a stand-up.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I was like, it's just crazy. Like he's not really in anything anymore.
Howie's like,
Because it was sorry. At the
You're
end of
good.
at the end of the movie, you find out he wrote it. He helped write it. I'm like, it's crazy. Like he wrote it in. Was in it? That's crazy.
Howie says, "How did hitting the balls go?" And I already said that part. And then they try to get Howie to come with them next time, and he says no. And he says, "Outside scary, son, not my friend."
and then like he hands Richie his little peeve jug, and Clark's like, "Is that apple juice?" He's like, "No."
No.
And now we're going to Pizza Hut to celebrate.
Pizza time! Shout out Spider-Man reference.
Pizza time.
And then they're like, Richie, you can be...
Ooh.
Richie talks about... They're talking about how Richie's like has some natural athletic ability, whatever. He could do good. It's just kind of like in passing. And then there's like a hot girl that shows up that's serving the salad.
I like salad.
I like salad.
No, he says, "I love salad."
Yeah.
Oh, it is. I love salad in my notes.
And
But I
it
put
says-
I love salad.
Yeah, I put twice.
She's like, yeah, it's really good. He's like, I love salad.
And then he runs away. And you can tell she's into it, which
Yeah.
is not real.
Love's not real. You heard it here first. Movie Juice Podcast.
And it's funny because he takes the tongs on accident back to the table with him.
I didn't even notice
Yeah,
that.
I noticed they were on the table with him. I was like,
and then
nice.
Clark comes to the table, and they're like, "Oh, how's Miss Pac-Man? He got his ass kicked."
By the Red Ghosts.
Yeah.
Ghosts.
And then
They're the worst, aren't they? Red Ghosts.
the kids from the baseball team show up with Uncle Jerry, and you find out that Jerry is like the bully of Richie and Clark from whenever they were children. And he's still an asshole. He calls them names.
Richie Bitchy.
Richie Bitchy and Clark the
Dork. Which is like, I think it's funny that like they make fun of him because the best he can do for Gus is Gus Bus, but like Clark Dork's pretty fucking
bad too.
So is
yeah.
Richie
like,
Bitchy.
Richie Bitchy's because it's like
It at least worked.
well,
maybe he was
Jerry-
a bitch in high school. I don't know, but
He
like
still kind of is.
That one makes yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Jerry tells them to stick to boogers and dingleberries,
Yeah.
and then Gus calls him Fairy Jerry. And he was just like, "What'd you call me?" He's like, "Well, you gave my friend's nickname, so I figured I'd give you one." He's like, "Okay, Gus. Bus."
And then Gus is like, "Wow, that was such a brutal comeback. Oh my god."
we gotta leave. I don't think I can recover from that one.
And then even his like the kids that are with Jerry think it's fucking lame.
And then while they're walking out of the Pizza Hut, I go on another rant. I wasn't drunk, but I had like one little beer while I was watching this, and I was like, "Bro, Pizza Hut used to be so fucking cool."
I think I'll go on a Pizza Hut rant towards the end.
So I was like, bro, they got Pac-Man, they got games, like everyone's there on a Friday night eating pizza.
They used to have a salad bar?
And like it looks fucking fun, and that's when I got really sad because we were talking earlier too about how restaurants are too corporate now. And I was like, bro, you should be the shit. You go into our Pizza Hut now, and it's like a fucking ghost town.
Yeah, because nobody fucks with Pizza Hut anymore. They got rid of that buffet and they fucked themselves in the ass.
Yeah, salad bar was so fucking good, dude. I love salad.
Like Richie does. Maybe you should say that to a pretty girl. See what happens.
Listeners, right in.
As they're leaving, he's like, "Stay off my field." And Gus is like, guys like him think that they can do what they want. And they find out that he's actually in charge of the baseball league in town. So he can kind of get them off the field.
Yeah, they leave, and Richie says, "Stay away from the fairy dust, Jerry."
Yeah.
And they go outside, and it's John Lovitz and his fart magnet son, Nelson.
Yeah. He gets animal turds twice daily.
Yeah.
Because he's like, oh, he dumped a whole bucket of poop on me when I was a kid.
Yep. And then
He's like, bro, his kid just did that to me last week.
he talks about how he was bullied a lot. And he shows them his nipples.
And they're just like permanently purple from all the titties.
Yeah, because Jerry's friend Brad is one
Yeah.
that twists him.
But then you find out that, like, he's kind of cool. He's got Kit from Knight Rider.
Yeah.
Is it Kit or Kip?
It's
Kit.
Kit.
Okay.
I've never watched the show.
I never watched the original. I watched the 2008 reboot with the Mustang.
Didn't watch that one either.
I watched like 2 episodes and stopped.
People our age mostly know David Hasselhoff from the SpongeBob movie.
Yeah.
Not Knight Rider.
That was the first thing I think I ever saw him in.
Yeah. And then he went to Germany to be a huge music star.
Yeah. And a dodgeball coach.
And they're like, "Who are you?" And he says, "I'm just one of those nerds who grew up to make billions." And then he tries to peel out and he fucking curbs Kit.
Yeah.
I have not perfected the peel out.
What have you perfected, John Lovitz?
Nothing.
Purple nipples.
You kind of suck, honestly.
Yeah.
And then they go. Gus
Kinda
goes
cool robot
home.
that makes sandwiches.
Yeah, number 7. And then Gus goes home, and his wife is mad because he missed their fuck appointment.
Yep, like I said he would.
And then he's like, "I thought you meant Mountain Time because you're from Colorado."
I can't believe he gets away with this.
I know.
Because
She's
his
like-
wife's like, oh, no, the next time I meet him, I'm like, you bought that?
That's just lazy writing.
Yeah.
And then next day, sporting goods store, and
Clark is doing a dino impersonation.
yeah, he says this mitt makes me look like a Barack warrior, and then he starts hissing. He's like, and then they pull out the mega mitt, and then they start knocking shit over, and Brad's like working in there, which is like Jerry's mean friend, and he's like, they start roasting each other. They call him fat, and then they start making fun of the way he talks because he calls him athlete. He says athlete, like athlete.
Oh, yeah, because they're impressed that he knows words with more than one syllable.
That's amazing.
And then-
And then he gets mad and punches the head off a mannequin.
It's also funny because he says, "You think you're hot shit because you know words."
Kinda.
And then Clark says, "Hey Brad, why don't you be a stud and point us to the register or register?" And then Brad punches the mannequin. And then Gus mows lawns. The guys show up. They try to get Gus's attention. They throw a rock at Gus, and Gus hits the rock,
It goes into the fucking mower.
and it hits Richie in the dick.
It hits him around the donger.
And then Richie throws up from being sick.
He's like, I'm gonna throw up.
And that's when Gus notices them.
Yeah, he's like, oh shit, my friends are here.
And
My
then
cool friends.
it shows that it shows more kids playing baseball, and the boys arrive, and it's Brad. No, yeah. Brad's the coach of this team, and he's like, "Time for us to scrimmage some losers."
Oh yeah, because he's like, because before they leave for the field, he's like, yeah, they're making fun of us, man. We gotta go play him for the field. We gotta go play him in a scrimmage. And he just like basically leaves his job. He's like, yeah, fuck this job. I'm gonna go play some baseball. And I'm like, you can just do that?
No. But back to whenever like they're fucking with Brad. Brad's talking shit to Gus, and Gus says, if you want to dance, I'll dance on your face. Which I thought was funny.
Yeah.
And then Brad tries to titty twist Gus, but Gus stops him, and he says, my wife's the only one that gets to twist these man titties.
Brad's like, how is this game going to work? There's only 3 of you guys. And then he calls Gus a midget, and Gus gets big mad.
Yep, he does.
I would too. That's not nice.
And then, Nelson's there, like, watching, and he calls his dad, and it's just showing Gus being a badass at baseball again. And then Mel shows up with the Adam West Batmobile, which I thought was pretty cool. And Richie's still terrible at baseball, and he says that he's not good because he pulled something because he used to run track. And then it shows Clark, and this is the first time it shows Clark, and it's a stupid running joke of him always letting go of the bat, which when I was a kid I thought was hilarious. Now that I'm older, it just pisses me off.
Yeah.
I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, because he throws it and it kills 3 squirrels.
Well, first it hits a dude that's jogging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then a Miata.
And then, once again, Gus being good at baseball. During this montage, Howie tries to go outside, but the sun's scary. And then Brad gets mad during all this, too, and he titty twists his assistant coach, which I thought was hilarious. And the boys win. And then Mel's like, hey, I have an idea tomorrow. This is after the game. Mel's talking to him, whatever, because he's there. And he's like, hey, I have an idea that I want to run past you guys. Are y'all free for lunch tomorrow? And Richie mentions that he normally takes his lunch from 12 to around 4:30.
Pretty long ass lunch.
It's a 4.5 hour lunch. You getting paid for all that? Because I couldn't afford to lose all that money every day.
For real.
And Clark's like, well, I might have lunch with my mom, but I can double up.
It's tuna.
It's tuna and Skittles.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I thought... He said something about how it's like macaroni salad or something.
Yeah, I think he says macaroni salad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like macaroni salad, but I guess I can double up.
But then you cut to the next day, and they pull up to this big old mansion, like on a hillside.
Oh, because his natural name is Schmegmer. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, I did too.
Because he's like, come up to Schmegmer Lane. I'm like...
Yeah, I was thinking schmegma,
Schmegma.
which is dick cheese. If you're uncircumcised.
Yeah, well, I'm not.
I'm not either. Wait, if you're circumcised.
Oh.
Are you? Wait, do you have a meat sock?
No.
Okay.
I am
You have
circumcised.
half an uncircumcised penis?
What the fuck does that even mean?
Because you're half
Oh.
Jewish.
Oh, no. I don't know.
Okay. You didn't go to a Jewish doctor.
No.
That's all.
I didn't discover I was half Jewish till later on in my life.
Also, it only counts whenever you're Jewish on your mother's side. Really? That's what my Jewish friend told me.
I didn't tell you that.
Full Jew.
Okay, there's
a
a difference. There's a difference. I'm half.
But anyway, they get there, and it's a nice big house, and Darth Vader is like the call box.
Yeah.
And they're like, they get there, and it's like them talking to Mel, and they're like, how much did this house cost? Like $1 zillion? And he says, it actually cost $2 zillion. Ha ha ha, this is Chateau Schmegmar.
Which is weird, because when they pull out, it just looks like kind of like a... It looks futuristic and shit, but it also is just like a big double wide.
Yeah.
It's just like long. It's not big.
And then-
He's got some cool knickknacks, but I'm like, that doesn't look like it cost $2 zillion.
And then like Mel has some really cool shit in his house though. Like he's got an R2-D2,
Yeah.
Clone Trooper, Stormtrooper, because there is a difference.
Fett.
A Boba
Boba
Fett,
Fett.
and he has a Darth Vader. That's pretty cool.
And he has number 7.
And he has number 7, which you meet.
Yeah, he's the robot servant.
And he doesn't like being touched. And Mel's also on
especially by Clark.
Yeah, he does not fuck with Clark.
No.
Which I understand, because I also do not fuck with Clark.
Yeah.
But he's on a Segway too, Mel is, which I just wanted to mention because that's very 2006 of him.
Yeah.
You know?
Sure.
And then he's like, my cool robot will make any sandwich you want. I'm going to get a peanut butter jelly with mayonnaise.
Yeah, that was gross.
Yeah,
That's
I was like-
disgusting.
I was like, oh. And then
I
Clark
don't think Clark's is much better.
And then Clark makes a sandwich.
is like, it's like tuna salad and Skittles, and I was like, what the
With the
fuck?
with the crust cut off.
Yeah.
And it's funny because while number 7 is making it, he's like shaking and smoking.
Yeah.
Like,
And then like Richie's like, I got a hard one for you. He's like, I want a turkey on wheat.
yeah, and then he just pulls it out and he's like, oh,
It's
okay.
like, oh shit, you got me.
And then Mel tells them about the idea for the Benchwarmers.
Gus is the only one that doesn't order anything.
Yeah.
I noticed that too. Yes. Mel tells them the Benchwarmers idea. He talks about how, it's a good way because all these kids were excluded from baseball, and now, look, whenever they were kids, they were excluded from playing games, and now their kids are being excluded from playing games.
Well, maybe don't be fucking nerds.
And he's talking about, like, how, then they kind of mention, like, like, Mel's like, Richie, like, do you have any kids? And he's like, I've never been on a date. And then you find out Clark's never even spoken to a girl.
Yeah, I found it funny because like Mel double
He double takes at him. Yeah, I also thought that was funny.
and then he continues what he was saying.
But then he talks about how it's painful to see his kids sad. And then Nelson
He's like,
arrives.
One day when you have kids, you'll know what it means.
And then he was like, do you oh yeah.
Nelson arrives and he has goat shit on his face.
Well, no, it's just Dookie, and then Clark
Clark.
takes it and like licks it. He's like, let's go.
Does he lick it?
I think he licks his fingy.
Oh god.
And then number 7 shoots water out of from his finger.
And then he's like, "Thank you, number 7. You're my best friend."
Which is fucking sad.
And then number 7 immediately bullies Clark. And you know what? I'm gonna try to remember this rant because I just thought of it, but it kind of pisses me off now that I think about it. Okay, so like later in the movie, they get onto Gus because he was a fucking bully as a kid. Yeah. Then we let this motherfucker number 7 bully the fuck out of Clark this entire movie, and nobody says a goddamn word.
Yeah, well, it's a robot. You know?
Yeah, but fuck him too, man. You know what I mean? He's smart enough. He's nice to Nelson. Fuck that little bitch. That's what I gotta say about that.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying though? Like,
well, Clark's the only one that tried to touch him.
That's true. But he's still like,
so maybe,
I don't like Clark either. But if we're gonna fucking treat somebody like this, we need to treat everybody like this.
Because like Clark's like actively like trying to touch him and shit, and nobody else is trying to touch him. So maybe that's why he shits on Clark. Cause he's,
yeah, maybe. But number 7 bullies Clark, and they say
because he's like, for all the kids who sat when they peed.
No,
like, okay, maybe that one's just me.
Because he was because the kids were weird, smell weird, and sat when they pee, like, and then they all look around and they're like, the last one was just me.
He's like, okay, because the last one was just me. And then like he
shows him the diorama of the field they want to build.
And he also has a sweet Star Wars chess set. I wanted to mention that.
Yeah.
And then the nerd kid is like, we have all these websites set up. There's a nerdly.net, the benchwarmers.org, and please stop with the shit tossing, it's getting old.com.
He says like some sort of revelation, like, please stop with the shit tossing, it's getting old.com. I'm like, that's a mouthful, kid.
And then they're like, why don't you just build a stadium for your kid and his friends and call it? And he's like, well, it won't solve anything. And they're doing it to get the kids respect, which is ridiculous because the grown-ass men are playing the kids.
To get respect, but you're
for
grown
the kids.
men.
For the nerd kids. And it's like, well, maybe these nerd-ass kids should get good. I don't fucking know. Go to practice.
Yes.
Don't be nerds.
Don't be I mean, you can still be a nerd and you can fucking do other things.
Just don't be a dork nerd, you know what I mean?
God.
Don't be a fucking dweeb.
I'm fucking working out listening to fucking videos about wrestling, dude. Like
Sammy Sprinkler. You can spit when you talk all you
want.
want.
I fuck that little kid
but
too.
Like,
good God. That's disgusting.
Maybe be good at baseball too. I don't know.
Yeah.
You can spit when you talk and still play baseball.
Speaking of Sammy Sprinkler, we go to the next day.
Yeah,
and
with
Gus
is that an ice cream shop with his wife?
He spills some all over his pants. Looks
and
like
then
hilarious.
This nasty ass little fuck named Sammy Sprinkler comes up to him and starts talking, and he's just spitting all over him.
It looks wet.
So Gus starts doing it back, and it's fucking disgusting. I'm sorry.
There's food.
He's making the kid feel better.
I hate this scene. I put that in my notes.
Bro, that kid in that instance didn't feel so alone.
But Sammy Sprinkler wants to be the scorekeeper, and then he goes and talks to his wife, accidentally spits on her because he's still talking like Sammy Sprinkler, whatever.
Yeah, she is not mad enough.
No. And then it shows the old guys, and they're in the field, and they're talking.
Yeah, they're the bully meeting.
And one of them says, if there weren't nerds in the world, who would we throw crap at?
Maybe just don't throw crap. We have opposable thumbs, unlike monkeys.
No, monkeys have thumbs.
I think monkeys have thumbs.
Yeah, but ours are opposable.
They don't have tactile pads, though.
Yeah, that. Whatever. You know what? I'm just saying, we're more advanced than monkeys, and they throw poop. Maybe we shouldn't throw poop.
Or no, they have tactile pads, and we have fingernails. I don't think they have fingernails. I think that's what it is. I can't remember.
I don't know.
I learned it, but that was like so long ago.
They don't know the concept of like training. So like we've never seen a gorilla at full strength.
Dude, holy shit!
Now I'm scared.
That's such a good point, Dylan.
Should we teach them properly?
No, why would we teach them?
Because they would be on our side. I've seen Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, but then he's gonna start banging his chest. He's gonna get his fucking body ripped in half.
That's him, bro. I'm not gonna insult the monkey.
Yeah, he's right. If I ever get within distance of a gorilla, I'm dying. Because I'm gonna go.
Yeah, that's the one thing you're not supposed
what I'm saying?
to do.
I'm gonna do it.
And
I'm
intimidates
You're not supposed
them.
to challenge them, man.
But I'm gonna because I'm a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
And it's literally like I think what I'm here for. You know what I mean?
You're here to get King Kong'd,
Yeah.
but in a bad way.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, fuck you, let's do this tournament, and then and then we'll get as far as the new field. He's like, yeah, let's strap it on. I'm like, what?
What?
Who says that?
He's like, he talks about sending the nerds to Planet Booger. I don't know. And then next day there's a crowd. Mel arrives. Because they're at the game.
And I love the name of it. It's called Mel's Tournament of Little Baseballers and 3 Older Guys.
And then Mel shows up and he asks him how they're doing. And motherfucking Clark says, I just destroyed that porta potty over there, but I'm feeling better.
This guy walks up.
And he just fucking throws. He's like, who did this?
He's like, sorry. I'm like, bro, I would not claim that. I'd be like, oh man, that's crazy.
And then Mel gives him some uniforms.
And they asked Nelson to be the ball boy, and dude almost fucking cries.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah, fucking hyperventilates.
Yeah, I said Nelson is bat boy and almost faints. Fucking dork.
and, they're like, and then Sammy's like, bro, we got a crowd over here for you guys. And
Yep.
they're really excited. Like, yeah, cool, let's show them a good time.
And then they say, let's kick some hairless ass. And then Mel's like, ha ha, I had hair on my ass before I could walk. And I said, oh, okay. And then like they're like streaming this on the internet. They have a podcast.
How do they do that?
Internet podcast in 2006. Wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, like, how did they live stream so clear in 2006?
Yeah, like that was crazy, bro. So that was gonna be grainy as shit in 2006.
Yeah, on that fucking net zero that's everywhere.
Yeah.
You miss me with that shit. You're fucking lying.
And then it's just kind of a montage, I think. But I know at one point Clark has the bat and he lets go of it and it hits that one guy's Miata.
Yeah.
And he gets all
Yeah,
mad. He's like,
this is also when he kills the squirrels.
Yeah, the three squirrels
Yeah.
fall down.
And then
And they start beating the fucking shit out of it.
and they're like, come on, snap his femur.
And he's like, guys, help
And
me.
he's calling for his mom too. And then Gus is still goaded.
Yeah, we have another home run montage.
And then Richie, I'm sorry, my autocorrect fucked me. Richie catches a ball barehanded for some reason.
And screams.
And Gus Bus going in, look alive Clark. Because this is when he decides he wants the guys to.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the
actually
score's
do so.
0-4,
And
and
then
Gus...
now we have like a montage of like them kind of sucking.
Well, he says look alive Clark because he's going to send it right to him. Like he's going to throw it to the kid where the kid will hit it.
Yeah, and
send
Clark's
it to
taking
Clark.
a beating out there.
Well, no, it's funny because Clark goes, I want to go home.
Me too, buddy. And then at one point he runs through the barricade.
Yeah. And I put
Oh, yeah,
like,
because the game is almost tied.
what?
Yeah. Clark takes a beating in the outfield, and then somehow the game almost gets tied up, and Gus chooses not to go for the strikeout.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, bro, just strike it out. I want to go home.
And then I thought it was funny because
And then that's when Clark goes to the barricade.
Yeah.
it also pisses me off because like Clark fucks up so much, and I just put good on Gus because I'd be so fucking mean to Clark.
Yeah.
Like I'd be like, dude, you dumb motherfucker.
you're costing us the game. That's the whole point, I guess. Like they're better than the coaches that are being assholes.
Yeah, but still, man, like, nah, fuck you,
We're fucking
dude.
playing with butterflies.
We all decided we were gonna do this, so you're gonna fucking play, you prick. You know, that's how I see it. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, but like you said, they want to go home. Richie's like, dude, just strike him out. It's fine.
And then, like, but he still does it again, and then like it misses Clark. He misses the ball. He's like dicking around. He keeps throwing it, not like enough.
Yeah.
And then Gus has to basically go fucking fetch it from the pitcher's mound.
The ball makes it to Richie, and he's distracted.
Yeah.
He does a sweet flip because he gets
Yeah.
it to Richie. Richie throws it to Gus, and he does a sweet flip and like hits the kid, and
Yeah.
the kid goes
And then he's
out.
They win 4-3.
And then that Sammy kid fucking sprinkles everywhere, and I put God fuck that Sammy kid.
Yeah, and it pans to Gus at home, and he pulled a muscle, and his wife is mad.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he can't fuck her.
And she's like, bro, I'm trying to get fucking
To be fair,
hang down in my stanky.
she could just ride.
She could just ride.
Yeah, she could just ride.
And then it's back to Mel's house, and he's like, "Hey, we're gonna do a secret practice." And number 7 bullies Clark again, and nobody fucking does anything. And then it's fucking Reggie Jackson. Reggie Jackson's there. Him and Mel are
Yep.
friends. They go way back.
And bullying drives Reggie crazy, but he doesn't do anything when number 7 is making fun of Clark.
Yeah, but he just roid rages out over that bat.
Also,
Yeah.
When the other guys lost the game, the guy nipple twisted himself.
Oh, yeah,
That becomes,
yeah.
that becomes like a theme that when they're mad, they nipple twist themselves. So I don't know. Just figured I'd mention that because it comes up again later.
And then you just find out that Reggie's gonna like show them the drills that he ran whenever he learned how to play ball.
And which was Ding Dong Ditch.
Yeah, and they're playing a Newfound Glory song during this.
Yeah, I also put that one. They put Newfound Glory. Sick.
And they play Ding Dong Ditch, and there's a crazy man that jumps in the bushes after Clark's
Yeah,
dumbass.
because everybody but Clark runs, and he jumps in the bushes, and then he farts, and he's like, "You're in the bushes!"
Yeah, that guy's fucking crazy. Got the crazy ass eyes, dude.
And then they do Brad's house, and this is when you find out that Brad is gay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the character's name is only in the movie as Swimmer Boy.
Yeah, but I in my notes I put him as
I think I wrote him as Speedo guy,
Okay.
or guy in Speedo.
Ding Dong Ditch Brad, and it interrupts his male massage.
I put that, but I think maybe Brad's so mean because he's closeted a little bit and he's ashamed of himself. But it's funny because like he says like to come back to finish the massage, and he goes, "Oh, you little devil!" And he chases him inside.
I'm gonna get you.
And then they play hot potato, and once again Clark pisses me off.
He just fucking holds it. And then he screams and throws it out the window, and it hits number 7. And he mows over the dog, and it shaves it. But if that was real, that would have murdered
That would have
dog.
killed that dog.
That dog would have been dead ski.
And then they start hitting mailboxes,
Which
and,
is illegal.
Yeah, super illegal.
Super illegal.
Super
actually.
fucking
I
illegal.
knew a kid in high school who went and did it with his friend. They had to pay for every single mailbox.
I accidentally.
That's getting off lucky.
Yeah.
But anyway,
What do you call this, by the way?
I don't know.
Mailbox baseball? I don't know.
Mailbox
Okay.
smashing.
I feel like there was an actual term for it because I just put in my notes mailbox destruction because I thought there was a term for it. Like,
I think there is a term for it,
but I couldn't think of it. I was like, I was
Yeah.
trying. I paused it. and I'm like, what is that fucking term? I couldn't think of it.
But it's funny because while they're doing this, Mel goes, "That's my friend," and I do that whenever you guys do a good job because he's talking about Reggie Jackson.
Oh yeah. That's my friend.
Yeah.
And then like I think it's Clark misses and hits the windshield.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then Richie accidentally hits a post, like hits the post instead of the
Yeah.
mailbox. And then whenever Clark hits that window, he says, "Clark, you're lucky. I'm a billionaire." And then
And then next game.
Yep, pans the next game.
yeah, and then he accidentally throws
Yeah, but Clark is still ass.
still ass, accidentally fucking lets go of his bat again. It hits the
Concession stand.
concession stand vendor guy, and he says, "Hey, she," which is something that's kind of stuck with me. Not gonna lie, because that was one of the things I did remember from this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Richie's up to bat, and the umpire is shit talking. Richie actually hits the ball. Richie drop kicks the umpire, going for the home run, and scores the game winner.
Which is not how that works because if he touched the guy who had the ball with live play, he would totally be out. So like that, he kind of got himself out by touching the
But
guy.
whenever Richie gets his because he's making fun of him for being a virgin,
Yeah.
and he says, because Richie hits a home run.
Yeah.
And he says, "I ain't a virgin now to home runs, biatch." And I thought that shit was funny.
And then
Kids start wanting autographs from him.
And then it pans to
Oh,
Brad.
because when he gets the home run, it hits the guy who's in the Speedo in the pool,
Yeah,
and he's got nachos.
Yeah, because he cries. He's like,
He's like, nachos! Because he's like, who wants to wrestle? I don't know.
oh,
It's in my notes
well,
somewhere.
pans to Brad and Jerry spying on them, and then the swimmer boy pops in there, and he goes, "Who wants to wrestle?"
Yeah.
And then Brad's like, "I do."
And then it cuts to Richie, and he's on the phone with Howie, and Howie's like freaking out because there are Girl Scouts at their gate.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Hey, they're bringing us cookies. That's our food for the week."
I was like, Jesus, that's all you eat?
And Howie is scared, and he goes outside with his toy sword.
Yeah, and he fucking screams at him. He's like, "Ah!" Which, I mean, if I was those girls, I'd run away too.
I would run away too, yeah. And then he gets as many cookies as he can, and he runs inside, throws the cookies, and hides.
Runs back into his little hole.
Yeah. The pans to Richie at work, and Salad Girl comes in
Her
with her
nephew.
son or nephew.
It's
I
her
don't
little
know.
brother, actually.
Oh, what? That's an
it's
age
her
That's
little
gap.
not the
brother.
dynamic I thought at all.
That's an age
And,
gap.
Richie tries to sound cool, and Salad Girl's name is Sarah.
I never wrote her name down. I just keep referring to her
And
as Salad Girl.
I also just wanted to make a
Actually.
comment about Richie's shirt, because his shirt sleeves are way too short. They like just barely cover his shoulders, and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Maybe he's supposed to be like a big man child. I don't know.
I think he is.
And all the shirts don't fit. I don't know.
And then-
Pans back to Schmegmer house.
and Marty. Why
Oh
did I
no,
put
it's
Marty?
the headquarters for the
Yeah, it's the
nerds.
nerd headquarters.
And they have a cool Spider-Man.
And then the kids are like making them baseball cards with their
Yeah.
stats.
He's like, bro, I hit like 20 cars, 3 squirrels.
Who the fuck is Marty? Why does he smell cinnamon rolls?
Oh, that's the old man.
Okay, yeah.
I
Richie's-
smell cinnamon rolls.
Richie's
Yeah.
like leaving work, and he goes, "Hey, Marty, I'm heading out," and he says that.
Yeah, I was like, who the fuck? Why did I write this?
But then they find out they have to go out of town for the next couple of days for the game.
Yeah,
And
Gus
they're
is
going
not
to
excited.
Brookdale, which is where Gus is from. And Clark asks if his mom needs to sign a permission slip. Good God.
And then he has to go. Gus has to go lie to his wife.
Clark's gonna bring this movie down for me. Like, he's making me that fucking mad. Like,
It's like an old Ozzy situation.
yeah, dude. Maybe worse. I think he got on my nerves way more than fucking Ozzy.
Yeah.
But, so it cuts to back at Gus's house with his wife. She's in the shower and they're talking, and he says that,
He has to go to a landscape convention.
She's like, oh, I've never heard of that. He's like, it's the first one, man.
Yeah, and she said, well, her ovulation schedule got pushed back because of the moon, so it's fine. I don't know if that's how that works.
She starts talking about, sorry.
I don't have a uterus.
Yeah, I don't
starts-
have that body part.
She starts talking about having a boy, and she's like, "Oh my God, it'd be so great if we had a son." And he's like, "Yeah, but imagine if our son is 3 feet tall and they are mean to him and call him Yoda and bowl with him."
And she's like, were you called Yoda? And he said, yeah.
And then he gets in the shower with her and pees. It goes to the next day, and it's the bus. The bus is called the Gus bus.
There's PlayStations on the bus.
And it has PlayStation. And then Clark is on his third candy bar, and his mother wouldn't approve, which nobody fucking cares, Clark. Take your stupid goddamn helmet off, you
How he
bitch.
finally leaves the house because he's on the tour bus.
Yeah, thank you for that.
You know, you're welcome.
But he left the house under nefarious circumstances because Richie lied and said that there's a killer on the loose killing people named Howie.
And his name's Howie.
And he says, "That's my name! That's my name!" game, which I thought was hilarious.
And then
Nelson's punk ass shows up on the goddamn bus, and he's got a fucking uniform on. It's like, listen here, you little shit. You're not fucking playing. Why you got a fucking uniform on? Fuck you.
they also said that this town is nefarious for throwing eggs.
Yeah, notorious.
Yeah. And
But they're also nefarious.
They are nefarious.
because the fucking announcer kid with the lisp says 6 innings, and I put scoreboard clearly says 5th, and it's currently 4-3. The Benchwarmers down by 1, and I did take a picture of it that it does say 5, and the subtitle says 6.
Send it to me. I'll put it in
the third
I'll
bus.
put it in the posts.
Word.
Or the third game. The third game is when they tape the bat to Clark's,
Finally.
And he scores a home run with that.
and he gets a hit, and he runs the wrong way because he's a fucking idiot.
Yeah, and how he sticks his head out the window and immediately gets egged.
Yeah, and then Gus also eggs a kid,
And then Richie gets egged.
and then Richie gets egged, and then Gus is good, and then Gus gets pants by one of the kids.
Yeah.
So he also pants the kid on third.
Which, that might be a crime.
Yeah. And then Benchwarmers end up winning 5-4.
Yeah.
And then it shows like a bunch of nerd kids like watching the games to
And
show
that-
how big they're getting, whatever, on the
Yeah.
internet, you know.
And game 4 is going to be in Gus's hometown specifically.
It was funny, too, because the nerds got sunburn on the bench.
Yeah, yeah.
And they were like, ooh, And I was like, yeah, that'd be me, too, because, red hair.
Yeah, true.
And then the guys are down 2-0.
In game 4 or the next one?
Then they get game 4. Yeah.
Clark accidentally catches a ball when he had a beetle in his glove, and then he eats the fucking beetle.
Oh, that was so gross.
Dude, I'm telling you, bro. That's it. I'm saying it right now. At least half a point's gone because of Clark. At least half a point.
Richie bunts it. Clark gets a triple, and Richie runs in for the win 3-2.
And he calls the bunt, too. I'm like, I've seen people call home runs. I haven't seen anybody call a bunt. He's like, right there. That's me. That's where that ball's going.
Oh, it's funny, though, because Clark, he overruns third, and then he threatens the kid with the bat that's taped to him. That part is funny. I'll give you that.
And then like it's after the scoreboard says 6th inning, and I was like, I guess they only play 6 innings.
Because they said it's the final inning. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
But then, paper talks of Benchwarmers. Gus is worried about his wife finding out.
And then number 7 changes that whole newspaper just to throw at Gus's house.
And then they're at Game 5, which is against Wayne's Hardware. That's what the team's called.
Yeah, because it's the semifinals.
And then the nerds try to do a wave, and they fuck it up. And then the coach goes out to the woods, and Jerry's there, and he has a dude named Carlos there who is 12 and definitely not 50.
I never wrote Tim Meadows' character's name down. I only just referred to him as Tim.
I only ever referred to him as Tim ever. Because he's always Tim Meadows to me.
Yeah. And then Carlos has a birth certificate that says I am 12.
In green crayon.
Green
Grand
crayon.
Crown.
And his picture of me.
And it's funny because Tim says 12, more like 1,200.
And he's like, I think our team will be fine. We don't need you.
And he's
like, we'll come back if you change your mind.
And he has a kid, and he's like, Carlos says, I need a refill, and he says, you need to go to an AA meeting, and then he walks away. And then also, apparently, during this game, you find out Clark doesn't need tape anymore. I guess he figured out how to hold on to a goddamn baseball
He also
bat.
does a midair freeze frame.
And then everyone scores, montage of them being good, a hit parade, and then the coach calls timeout and goes and gets Carlos.
He's like, fine, fuck it, we need this 12-year-old.
And it's funny because whenever he comes out onto the field, he has like 8 bats in his hand, and he's like testing them all out, and he throws them all at the kids.
Except for the one he uses. He's like, ah.
Yeah, and then he gives the ref $10.
Yeah, inside the
Yeah.
certificate, he's like, yep, seems legit.
And Richie says, whoa, dude, you smell like beer. And he says, you look like beer.
And then Gasolina plays.
Yeah, Gasolina plays.
like
And whenever he scores his first home run, he runs with the Dominican Republic flag.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
fucking great. I was like, nice.
And then,
And he looks him out. He's like, I'm gonna kill your family. And I was like, Jesus Christ. 12-year-old's violent.
they also send Howie on a beer and tequila.
Oh, yeah,
run.
yeah. Richie gives Howie money and tells him to go buy some beer and tequila and come right back. And then
And
it
then
pans.
he gets the girl to go with him.
Yeah.
He's like, go with him.
And then it's like a montage of Carlos just destroying.
Yeah,
Destroying
destroying
those
them,
motherfuckers,
talking
yeah.
shit. He's actually being super fucking cool. Looks like the Gus bus is out of gas. And then he burns his tongue with a cigarette.
Yeah, he's like,
Ah.
And then like it's just them. He's fucking them up, and then he's out there like flirting with the girl, just like in the middle of the game. And they show up, and they come back with the alcohol, and they give it to him.
He said, this is a present from the Benchwarmers. He's like, oh, thank you.
And then he like chases them off, and then he's keeping his tequila in his glove, which is sick.
Because he has the glove like he's getting ready to pitch, and then he goes,
Yep.
he takes a sip of it.
Gus also gets his hands stomped on.
Yeah, he's like,
and now he can't pitch.
Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, dirty motherfucker. And then Clark has to pitch because he throws newspapers.
Right, he's like next best option, I guess.
Which makes sense to me.
Yeah, I agree.
And then, so, Clark's sucking, so the bases are loaded. Because, of course, Clark sucks, because Clark fucking sucks. The bases are loaded.
Also, the one pitch he did, he throws it, and it hits the ground and bounces up, and then Carlos hits it. And I'm like, bro, once that ball touches the ground, it's out of play. You can't do that.
Yeah, I think it's a dead ball.
Yeah, buddy.
Anyway, so...
Gus catches it, and then he just punts it.
Yeah, because he can't throw it because his hand's still fucking. So he punts the glove with the ball in it.
But Clark catches the glove, gets an out. It's tied up now. But Carlos is trashed.
Yeah, because Tim Meadows is like, is that beer? He's like, no, it's Gatorade.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not Gatorade.
And it's funny because...
before he pitches.
Well, he goes, and then they're like, Maria, why did you leave me?
And how he's eating sunblock.
And letting it...
because the bases are loaded.
And someone says letting a 12-year-old drink like that is disgusting.
Yeah, letting a grown man play baseball is disgusting.
Yeah.
What about the guy over there eating sunblock?
Oh yeah, because the bases are loaded and they need it.
He's like, he's wearing a uniform. Let him play.
Yeah,
And
dumbass wearing a fucking uniform.
Because they either have to have Howie play or they have to forfeit.
Yeah, and they ain't forfeiting because they're the goddamn Benchwarmers.
And then he comes up with the toy sword that he had earlier and hides behind the catcher.
Yeah, they're like, somebody get the sword.
Yeah, and then he fucking sucks on the first one. They're like, hey, maybe bring back the sword.
And then Carlos is really drunk, so he sees multiple
And
Howies.
he's like, oh.
And he says, look at all these albinos.
Yeah.
Earlier, he's like, oh, thanks, albino.
And then the girl in the crowd stands up and says, come on, weird guy.
And they're like,
Yeah,
weird guy.
Weird guy.
Weird guy.
And Carlos is so drunk that he hits Howie and he gets to walk.
He gets to walk the base and then get one more run and they win again.
Yeah. And then Carlos pukes all over Tim Meadows.
He's like, hey, man, what the hell? He's like, bleh.
He says, Carlos, you're drunk. And then he throws up all over.
Oh, it literally gets in his mouth.
Yeah,
And I was like,
it's
oh.
gross.
And then Richie shouts out the salad girl, and she fucks with it hard.
Yeah, she's in the. It cuts to her in the Pizza Hut, and she's like, she got lady. She wants to hang down in her stanky.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it cuts to the coaches and their friends, and they're all playing poker. And Terry Crews is there. And he sees Gus on the TV talking about bullying, and he's like, man, fuck that dude. He was the biggest bully around whenever I was a kid.
Yeah, because he went bald by the age of 9.
And he's like, he played the psychological card, and he called him names. And I didn't write down any of the names.
I didn't either.
But they were all just bald related, really.
Yeah. And then he was like, man, I had to buy this wig. And they're like, oh, we couldn't tell that your hair.
He said, your hair's the bomb, bro.
And then the Speedo guy makes fun of the wig.
And Terry stands up, and Swimmer guy's like, hit me as hard as you can, or pour some honey all over me.
Let me see what you got. You're really mad.
Yeah, he says, let me see you get really mad.
And Terry sits down very confused.
He's like, no, I'm good.
And then they start talking, and he starts talking again about, like, whenever we were kids, he bullied this one kid so bad that he had to go to the loony bin. And then it cuts to, like, the town's going to get a stadium, and that's, like, whenever they're back at the nerd headquarters at fucking Mel's house. I mean, they're not in the nerd headquarters, but they're at Mel's house, which I'm sure is the same place.
Yeah, because they're all having milkshakes.
Yeah.
Or they're going to have milkshakes. And then the urinal tells
Talks
Gus
to
that
Gus.
he shouldn't be drinking. He's like, if you want to live, you might want to stop eating all this fast food.
Yeah. But then the news is a hit piece on Gus, and it's Terry talking about how Gus was such a bully, and it's the principal from their school whenever they were kids.
He's like, you were a bully too. Fuck you.
And then he knocks the wig off his head.
He's like,
He says, I hate everybody! And then Gus talks about how, yeah, he was a bad bully, and this one kid got institutionalized, and then Nelson's little punk ass confronts Gus.
really, you bullied people too? I'm like, yeah, but I got bullied first. Fuck you.
Well, it's like, damn, bro.
Hurt people, man. You gotta learn that someday, kid.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, Gus was a child then, and now he's a grown man.
Yeah, like,
He
shit, of course he
understands-
feels bad.
He
Yeah.
understands what he did, and he doesn't feel good about
That's why
it.
he's standing up for all the Benchwarmers, because he knows it's wrong.
Yeah, Gus wants to right his wrongs.
So he goes to Marcus to apologize, and Mrs. Puff is his mom. Marcus.
Well, also
Marcus's
though,
mom.
before that, he goes home and he tells his wife about it because she asked him about it.
And she was like, is this why you didn't want to have kids?
He's like, yeah, I don't want our kid to end up like me.
Well, he doesn't want his kids to get bullied because of karma. That's what he says.
Yeah.
He believes in karma. And then his wife's like, well, life's about learning lessons.
Maybe you should go apologize. I forgot it was like her idea, kind of.
Yeah. And then the dude's name is Marcus, and they get to his house, and it's like it's kind of in
He's got a bomb ass peanut butter fort.
sweet fucking
Dude.
basement. Like,
And he just finished his new peanut butter statue.
Yep.
The dragon.
And he also has wrestling. He has wrestling figures, and his glasses are huge.
That's the noise he makes with
Yeah.
the dragon.
And he's drinking from a plastic teacup. So they really do everything they can to just emasculate this man.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, they
Except for the
do.
wrestling figures things, because there's nothing wrong with a grown man having action figures.
She's like, Marcus, don't quit playing with your toys.
Yeah, and then, his mom's like, you have a visitor. And he's like, well, how do I have a visitor whenever I don't know anyone? And then,
That's a good point.
That's a great point.
And then it's Gus, and he runs away. He's like, oh, oh. That's literally the noise he makes.
Yeah, he's freaking out in his little fort.
Yeah, and then they did the peanut butter dragon.
Well, he also tries to cast spells on
Yeah.
Gus, and Gus is just trying to say he's sorry. And he's like, no, you're lying. And
Just like you did back then.
he runs back into his fort, and he has a Kurt Angle and a Booker T. I noticed both of those. Yeah. And Gus apologizes for real. You know, he's being genuine about
He's
it.
like,
You
even
can
if
tell.
you didn't know it, you were the heart and soul of this team. And he's like, I want you to have my hat. And he puts it on his little stuffed moose and walks away.
Yep.
And then it pans to Mel with a contractor, and he says, if you build it, nerds will come. But they only have 24 hours.
Field of Dreams reference.
And he's like, keep it under $1 billion, because it's all I have got on me.
And then it's like a home makeover.
It's like a Ty Pennington ripoff.
Yeah. Which that guy's in just,
Yeah,
he's random shit.
Lachlan Monroe. I remember this time because I looked him up because I was like, I always forget his fucking name because he's always in like everything.
And then the championship game is going to get played in the brand new field. And there's swings and slides and pools and a sweet PS2 sign.
Yeah, I was like right in front of the pool. I'm like, yeah, nice.
I just put this stadium kicks ass.
And then the kids that are broadcasting the podcast are like asking people.
Well, they ask goth kids.
They ask the goth kids about what they think about how Gus turned out to be, and they're like, Gus's soul will perish in the fire pits of the underworld.
And then the other one hisses.
Yep.
Like the anime kid from like the 2009.
And Clark was like, we could
The
still win.
2009s is correct. Yeah.
Clark was like, we could still win this game if we use the Force.
And it's just like, man, shut the fuck up. You know, like, Jesus.
And then Gus shows up and he's like, even though I'm not on the team, man, like I just wanted to.
I wanted to come
show
see my
support.
best friends. Like, that's what he calls them. And
If
then,
that's your best friends, buddy, you need to
Get some better friends.
maybe move to a new town.
and then there's like an announcer out there. There's an announcer out there, and he's talking about the game, and then Marcus walks up to the mound, and he wants to talk, and he calls himself by his username, Dragon Master 784 or Yoda. That's what a big man yells from the crowd.
He's like, yes, I get it. I've heard it all before.
But then he tells them about how Gus came to him and apologized.
And he accepts the apology.
And Clark says, this nerd makes me seem like Rambo. And Richie says, I don't think so. And then he says, John Stamos? And Richie says, warmer.
And then while he's talking about it, everyone's like, no, Gus was mean to him too, so we should turn on him too. And he's like, well, remember in Dragon Quest, the elves forgave the giants because deep down inside they're all sad too.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, yes, we agree with that. Like what?
And then Clark and Richie are there, and Clark's like, man, he's so wise. He's like Yoda. And Richie's like, and then it's a funny joke, but I can't remember it. But they deduce that he's also like Yoda because he's a short person.
Yeah, he's like, oh, and then they're like, oh, something like this.
I guess there's other reasons too.
And we also keep cutting to these guys in the crowd, and this one guy's like, he's like, oh, because then they go outside and they him and Gus hug. He's like, yeah, and then Gus picks up Marcus, and then the guy in the crowd's like, oh man, I want a little man too.
And then there's just magically one there, and then somebody gives it to him.
I can't think of his name. It's the guy that plays Mini-Me.
Vern
Troyer?
Vern. I always forget his name. But he just gets hands. He's like, yeah, and they hug. It's
he hugs him.
And Gus talks on the mic. He says they will not be playing in today's game, and the actual Benchwarmers will be playing, and then Clark and Richie are on commentary.
And Marcus is the new third base coach, and then he faints.
Yeah.
And then Howie grabs the mic and says, the sun is not a monster.
I thought it was a monster, but it's not a monster.
And I put strikeout galore.
Yeah, and the kid has Clark's helmet on, and good God, Clark's hair is disgusting. It's all greasy and matted down to his head.
Yeah.
And then the jock kids...
Almost like that's all he really did, wear the helmet for the whole shoot, and then finally took it off for the last day. Like, it was gross.
And then the jock kids are kind of starting to come around to the nerds, because the nerds are just having a good time, happy to be there.
Yeah, and like even though they're winning 42-0, they're still getting yelled at.
Yeah.
I put his coach didn't even yell at him. Like, yeah, like I didn't even. I also had some parents like this when I was a kid when I played baseball because they were like, bro, just let them play the game and have fun. Like, it's not that serious.
It's not that serious.
They don't have to go fucking pro, man.
Yep.
Because like I had these fucking parents when I was a kid that would like yell fucking looking at their kid, like if they miss like one fucking ball, it's like I was like, bro, fuck you, dude. Like just let them play the game. It's fucking Optimus baseball. Fuck off.
Yeah, for real. Especially when it be like some T-ball shit. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah, you fucking yell at a kid. It's fucked up, man.
They're gonna make the kid not want to come.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, he's not gonna want to play, and then you're gonna be even more mad.
And then Jerry's mean to his pitcher and tells him,
If he doesn't strike the kids out, he's off the team for next year.
yeah, because he literally he doesn't want them to score at all. Like, he wants to blow them out, which is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, dude.
Because I was like, if you blow this lead, you won't play next year. And I was like, buddy, it's a 42-0 lead. Nothing would blow this lead. What do you mean?
Yeah.
And then, like, the pitcher and the catcher make a plan. And then the catcher tells Nelson that he's going to throw one right down the middle. And Nelson's like, oh, cool, so I can hit it, and I'll help you with your social studies homework.
He's like, thanks, I suck at social studies. Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, which is weird because it's like one of the easier ones.
It is.
Yeah,
true.
I did great in that fucking
Yeah,
class.
same.
Even though I didn't
Mo-
give two fucks.
Most history classes I did pretty well in. I was only ever like really shit in math.
Well, I liked history because history was always like story time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I like history is fun to learn about. And then like English is like, you can have fun in English and still get a pretty good grade. Science.
Science can also be fun though.
I think I mostly got C's in science.
I think science depended on the teacher.
Math was
Yeah,
always
yeah.
like D's all the time.
But it's funny you said that about math because you kind of showed that at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did.
That was 11 years ago.
Full circle. Look at us. Look at us. Who'd have thought?
Not me. Not me.
But anyway, so Nelson hits the ball and all the kids fuck up so that Nelson can score.
Yeah, he gets a home run.
Yeah.
And
scores.
and then the kids come running out, and I put celebrate and not being shut out is crazy. Like,
Hey, little victories.
Hey, Carolina Panthers, baby.
Yeah, for real. You're not kidding.
and then the little man titty twisters the big man in the stadium, and the nerds all run up on Jerry and
And we'll give him a wedgie.
Yeah, and they like attach them to the fence,
Yeah.
the baseball fence.
and then they're at Pizza Hut again.
Yeah.
And then all I put shouts out when Pizza Hut was good.
Yeah.
I told you I made a note about it.
And Carlos and Swimmer guy are sharing a drink.
And
Yeah.
Marcus is sitting on the Speedo man's lap. They're just having a good time together.
Yeah.
And then Howie's underneath the table with Tim Meadows.
Yep.
Yeah, because Salad Girl and Richie are talking.
And he's
and
like, I've
then,
never kissed a girl before.
yeah, and then Clark is making out with some lady.
He's like, bro, you kissed a girl before I did?
And he says that's way better than macaroni.
And then Richie and Salad Girl kiss. And then it pans to Howie and Tim under the table. And Howie's like, hey, I'm no longer afraid of the sun. And Tim's like, well, how's the moon treating you?
Yeah.
Not a fan.
Not a fan. And then he eats sunblock again.
Yep.
And then Gus gets offered to be the head coach of the Benchwarmers, but he says no because he's going to be busy starting his family. But then you find out that his wife's already pregnant.
Yeah. She's like, well, that's already started.
Because he went all the way with her.
Yeah.
He announces it to the whole pizza.
And Howie's like, what does that mean? And Tim Meadows whispers in his ear. And he's like, ah!
He
And
comes sunblock.
Yeah, he shoots sunblock everywhere.
And that's the end of the movie.
Clark, Richie, and Gus hug, and then it fades to black. Movie ends.
Okay.
And then this is when I found out Nick Swartzen also wrote it. And I was like, oh, crazy.
All right, so I'm going first on the rating.
Yeah.
All right, so coming into this, I was going to give it a 6, right? But then whenever we were talking about it before the podcast, and I was kind of changing my opinion on it, I dropped it down to about a 5.5. And then I decided that I was going to get rid of half a point because of Gus.
Yeah.
So we're going with
Because of
5.
Gus?
No, Gus is cool
Clark.
because of fucking Clark's a bitch ass. And also, man, I'm like real close to doing another half gone for fucking Nelson and that Sammy kid. I'm not even going to lie to you. So I think I'm going to give it a 4.5.
Wow.
Because
Yeah.
and like honestly, does it deserve that? No, because really it's like a 5.5.
Yeah.
But 4.5. Fuck you, Sammy. Fuck you, Nelson, and quadruple fuck you, Clark. You fucker. All right, there you go. 4.5. That's it.
I was going with a solid, like, when I wrote it down originally, I put 3. But then I was like, well, it's better than a 3, but not by much. So I'm going with a full 4. I love this movie as a kid, but as an adult, I don't remember it being this bad. Some of the jokes made me chuckle, but most of the jokes aged like milk in the August sun.
Yeah, I mean,
It's not a good movie.
I didn't have problems with the jokes. My problem was just with the shit ass characters.
Yeah, it's just not a good movie. I remember loving it as a kid. It's just as an adult with adult, sense of view. It's just like this movie's kind of ass.
I'm probably never gonna watch this movie again.
Yeah, it's probably the last time I'll ever see this movie.
Unless I'm like way down the line, maybe. But there's a reason why I haven't watched this movie since probably 2007.
Yeah, and like I just feel like 3 is a little too harsh.
I think 3 is too harsh.
But yeah, 4, I'm going with a solid 4.
Like I said, I think my 4.5 was a little harsh, but I'm sticking to it.
Yeah.
Kyle, don't change your opinion just because of us.
I'm gonna go with 6.
Go ahead.
I enjoy it. It's still funny to me.
Yeah,
I
man.
don't know. I might watch it again at some point, but it's gonna be probably a long time from now. Like I'm not sold on like I'm never gonna watch it again. I still think it's funny. Some of the jokes land. I'm gonna go with 6.
Go with 6, man.
Oh,
You
yeah.
deserve it.
You say you deserve it.
Thanks, I guess.
Yeah, man, you deserve to be who you want to be. Dylan's gonna give this goddamn thing a 3.
Yeah, that's great.
That's
Yeah.
fucking
As
nuts.
soon as he said that, I
Well,
was like, damn.
I like this movie more than Miss March, and I don't remember what I gave Miss March off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Probably about the same. Probably about in my notes originally I did give it a 3.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I liked Miss March marginally more than I liked this movie.
Yeah, you get to see a lot more boobs. In the
I think for
movie.
nostalgia purposes, this is probably higher than Miss March.
But that's all I got.
We've been doing a lot of duds recently.
Hell yeah.
Shut it down.
Shut down the
Smack it up, flip it, rub it down.
We
Ew.
should just watch that movie again because that was a way better time.
Oh, God, yeah. Well, that's been another Movie Juice. New episodes drop every Thursday morning. Follow us on Facebook at Movie Juice, Instagram and Twitter at Movie Juice Pod. Coming soon website, www.moviejuicepod.com. If you have any suggestions for a logo, send them in to our email. If we decide to use it and like it, we'll send you some monies. If you have any thoughts on movies we've already reviewed or recommendations for any movies, or if you have a review for this pod, email it in at moviejuicepod@gmail.com. Write in. We'd love to hear from you. All links can be found on our link tree. We are on Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and YouTube. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Our handles are in the description below. We'll be off next week, but we'll be back on April 10th with Kevin Smith's film Mallrats, starring Jason Lee and Ben Affleck. So in the meantime, you can get caught up on all episodes on our podcast playlist, which can be found on our YouTube channel, as well as all individual episodes on most podcast platforms. See you all in 2 weeks, and as always, I've been Dylan.
I've been Kyle.
And I've been James. And for one last time, this has been The Juice.